welcome to Regional Italian Cuisine. My name is Caterina Borsato. Of course, we're joined by our resident chef, Michele Usci, and we're going to be spending the next couple of weeks on Tuscany, La Toscana, Michele.
Yeah,
now, whereabouts is La Toscana in Italy?
Which is on the Tyrrhenian Sea. It's facing Sardinia, where we were
just left
last week. And so it's in the center of Italy. And
the capital is Firenze.
Firenze, which actually was
Florence for viewers at home.
Florence. Very popular for very touristic.
Very touristic. And La Toscana, in fact, is bordered at the very north of La Toscana. I think you'll find Liguria, and I know there is some Ligurian influences in the food. And then you're sort of bordered by Umbria, Emilia-Romagna, Lazio. So I suppose we talk, there's Rome in there. There's, Perugia, all that area. So we've got some exciting things we can talk about.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is actually that Florence was the first town to be capital of Italy after the unification of Italy.
Oh, really?
Because when they actually moved from Torino, moved to Firenze just for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And
pretty amazing sort of influences, because it really was the centre of the Holy Roman Empire, is that right?
Yeah, there was that too.
So lots of monasteries and monks. I just remember something in the history there which obviously left a lot of influences in terms of they had their own chefs and artisans that worked within the monastery. So I guess a bit of their legacy has been left. And Michele, I suppose another very interesting story about Florence as such is the history that involves Caterina di Medici, or Medici, how do they actually say it?
The Medici, yeah.
The Medici, isn't it? Which was a noble family that ruled that kingdom for a long time. Now, in my research, I think that Caterina married King Henry II. He came over from France.
Yeah. And
she was about 12 years of age. She was a very young queen, and obviously was bursting with all this Florentine influence. And I suppose when she went back to France, she took a lot of the influence with her, because I often say it was the other way around. But as Italians, we believe that the Italians influenced French cooking, yeah? And the only thing the French left, apparently, was mayonnaise and bechamel. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's in the book, so I don't know if the French would like to hear us saying that.
They wouldn't be happy with that.
They wouldn't be happy. But, of course, what the Italians brought over to France were things like sorbets, pastry, I'm just sort of thinking they sort of refined a lot of things. And most importantly, actually, the other thing we should say is that the Italians actually introduced forks. Yeah. As you know, they were eating with their fingers, and the Italians actually introduced forks, and they introduced glassware instead of using goblets. So that was bringing a little bit of the elegance of a Florentine life. And it was pretty over the top, wasn't it?
Yeah, for that time.
For that time, absolutely. So, Michele, what's the first dish we're going to be showing our viewers this evening?
We're going to do fagioli al fiasco.
Fagioli meaning beans?
Beans, yeah.
Is that fiasco?
Beans is very important in Tuscan food.
Yes.
Even the beans came from America as well. All thanks to our friend Cristoforo.
Really?
Yes. And...
the Mexicans put the tomatoes.
Yeah.
The Americans put the beans.
Now, first of all, you need to drink a lot of wine, okay, and collect a lot of these bottles.
So, Michele, how easy can we find these bottles? Are they easily found in Melbourne? I suppose some of the better supermarkets, Italian supermarkets, Piedimonte, my local?
Yeah, Piedimonte will have it.
Yeah.
And, yes, they're not really popular in good restaurants anymore. They used to be good in the long time ago.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because I always said they used to have the Italians kept all the good quality wine, and all the inferior quality wine was sent out to Australia.
Of course.
It just looked good on the table.
But there was actually one of the first way of bottling Chianti, so there was original. Yes. The only thing is the Italians keep sending the bottle, but sending a really bad quality product, like you said. That's the problem. So,
and to remind our viewers, Chianti, of course, is in Tuscany, so we know we're still in the same area.
Yeah. And so what do? You have to cut this out, empty it, drink all the wine, if you can.
Not before cooking.
They stopped doing this in restaurants because chefs, they just, they used to leave livers, the livers used to be gone. Now, you have to pull it apart.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Secured by the bottom? Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
here we go.
So here we got a bottle.
Okay.
Before you do this, you should sterilize the bottle, which is...
How do we do that, Michele?
You can boil it for 10 minutes and then let it cool down in the water. And and what you do, you make sure you let it dry by itself, okay? You take it out, you don't go inside with teeth out. The original recipe is you have to put this bottle with beans inside in your fireplace on the edge. Or at the end of the night when you switch it off, you just put it on the side, and that's so it cooks slowly, and by the morning you can have it. And this is good because it's a little bit like steaming because you keep all the flavors inside.
So are the beans raw when you put them in?
No, we put these are cannellini beans. Then we put in water the night before, the dry ones. If you're able to find the fresh, use the fresh one.
So you got a pre-soaked dried cannellini beans.
Always 12 hours at least.
Okay.
And then what do you do?
Do we put salt in the water when you're soaking them?
No, they tend to break if you do that.
Okay. You have to ask him all the tricks of the trade because he won't tell us otherwise.
Then what you do, you just put it inside, okay? Put the beans inside. Now, the main thing is to make sure you got a bottle, the top of the bottle bigger than the beans, okay? That will save you a lot of problems because otherwise you have to smash the bottle to eat the soup.
Michele, did you know that cannellini beans are the most highly processed bean in Italian gastronomy, in terms of it comes tinned or canned, Unbelievable, of all the beans. Oh.
Now, the other most important thing is what are you going to use to actually cook it. You can use water, or what I usually do, some stock. Now, I've got chicken stock. Chicken stock is good, a lot of flavor, but the thing is, if you're going to leave this for too long, maybe a day after in the fridge, it tends to get a little bit gelatinous inside and doesn't really, it looks a little bit strange. So if you do other vegetable stock or water, if you're thinking of leaving it there for a while. But this is beautiful because you can actually have it even for breakfast cold, on the plate.
So the beans remain whole during the cooking process? They don't break? The skins don't break?
Because they cook really slowly. Really slowly,
All right, fantastic.
And of course, if you got fresh beans, like the original recipe, it will take even less time to cook.
Yes, of course.
And
okay, well, there you go.
Okay, so this is it. Then what we're going to do, we're going to pour some chicken stock. Chicken stock, you just boil from cold water. You put chicken bones or a gallina. Celery, carrot and onions, and you boil it for 3 hours at least. Quite dense, quite yellow in colour, obviously. And chicken stock is the preferred stock as opposed to a meat stock or vegetable stock? Vegetable stock, it's even it's okay because you can actually leave it there for a bit as well. But gallina, I think, will give more flavour. Okay. Gallina is a boiler. I think all the Italians at home would know. Now you fill it up till 3/4, so we put a little bit more. There we go. Then we need a little bit of olive oil. What I'll do... Does that just sit on the top? Yeah, there just a little bit on top. I'll put a little bit, a pinch of salt in there. And a pinch of pepper. Is our stock seasoned already? Very lightly. Very lightly. Yeah. And then it's up to you. You can actually put some sage if you want, some basil, whatever herb you want. Maybe sage is a good thing. You can give me some basil, maybe to this one. Some basil. Oh, yeah. Basil. Fantastic. There's no problem, we'll go down. And then we have to make a lid for this. Of course, you can't really close this completely. Oh, you use the raffia to seal it. And the thing is, now, if you don't have a fireplace at home, what you do, usually what I do is actually I put it in a container with hot water and just put it in the oven like 170 to cook slowly. Or unless you got a